footballs, basketballs, musical instruments,
and anything else a child would like.
Share your blessings.
Children will be able to choose a gift for another child.
And Florida Kids Helping Kids will wrap the gift.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from all of us here at WOCA The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
6 minutes after 9 o'clock. It's a beautiful but chilly Tuesday, and it's time for In the Garden with Carol Ann. Carol Ann Baldwin is your host. If you have a question or just have a comment you'd like to share with Carol Ann, the number is 622-9622, and it is open the entire show. What that means is that if Carol Ann and I are conversing about something, don't worry. We want you to interrupt us. So 352 is the area code, 622-9622. Good morning, Carol Ann.
Good morning, Larry.
You are definitely dressed for the warmth. For the
cold.
cold.
Out. Yeah, it's
dressed
cold.
for the cold.
I'm dressed to be warm.
Dressed to stay warm.
It's cold out.
Yeah, I said it wrong.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
It looks a good look for you, though.
It works. It's buttoned all.
You're still a New Jersey girl at heart, aren't you?
No.
No, not at all, huh? You're a Florida girl, huh?
That's it, yeah. I've been here that long.
So how's everything?
It's good. It's good. Trying to helping everybody get ready for the holidays and all that stuff. And
do you know I have a piece, Lily, and I have a question about it. I keep it inside because one time I was afraid it was going to be gone.
Right.
I'm wondering, is it been around long enough? It's like inside, it's like the pot looks nasty. Everything is like, because it's a clay pot.
Okay. It's
got like that salt coming on the outside. It looks nice, but inside, it looks like it would be better outside. Do you think it'll live now?
Not this time of year, it won't.
It'll die?
Yeah, it'll die. Yeah.
Oh,
cold weather. Yeah, they don't like cold weather. They prefer, really, they like to be a houseplant.
Oh, really?
I've read a lot of people who do put them in the ground, but I think at some point it's that they've just gotten so big. Maybe they were a gift after. Usually most people get them
somebody
as a
dies.
gift when somebody
That's
passes.
what happened to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They grow them for many years. They pot them up till they finally go, oh dear Lord, it's too big. I can't do this anymore.
So don't put it in a bigger pot.
You can keep putting it in a bigger pot.
Oh, but then you have.
After a while, they do get very large. But what I'm saying is that many times people come in and they go, I can't have anything that big. It's taking up the whole corner of my living room, etc.
Yeah.
I said, take off a small section and start it over in a smaller pot again, and either gift out or get rid of the other one, or at that point plant it in the yard, realizing that you might lose it. You never know with us, with our weather here, because what was it, 2 days ago? 2 days ago, I was wearing shorts.
I believe it.
Yeah, today I have.
In 3 days, you'll be wearing shorts again, probably.
In 3 days, I'll be wearing shorts again, maybe. I hit a certain point in the wintertime, and it's hard to put shorts back on. Then I'm just cold. But, it's, that you can put it out in the landscape. But I would be waiting until at least after danger of frost, so mid-March or later.
And when does that first day of frost?
Last expected frost day, because we've already passed the first expected frost
day.
Oh, okay. That was mid-November.
Oh, okay.
Our last expected one is mid-March, about the 15th of March.
Okay.
And actually, we did have quite, not necessarily frost weather, but quite chilly weather right after that first frost date, or not far after it. And now we have here the first week of December, we've had scattered frost.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was some frost. Now, in my neighborhood, there's a lot of trees, same as yours. The frost didn't settle too much. I don't think as I was leaving my house this morning, a lot of that was either. Well, the temperatures were still actually dropping at that point, but that it wasn't a lot of frost.
And you have a phone call. Good morning. You're on there with Carol Ann. Hello?
Good morning.
Well, they disappeared.
I guess not.
622. 622. No, that might have been somebody who said, oh,
wait a minute. Yeah.
I don't know where I'm calling, but this doesn't sound like
right.
somebody.
This wasn't the number I was dialing. Right. Gotcha. But I brought up two different things. I brought up the Weather Channel thing for today and for the next 10 days. And it's like, this was our little blast. It's typical Florida. I mean, it's a little early maybe for these temperatures with this cold front being down into those upper mid 30s for overnight. That's a little. I think it's a little early on that. But you look from Friday on until all the way down. I'm seeing, because I brought up 10 days till the 2 Tuesdays from now, so that's the 17th, and we look very seasonal. Even though there's a couple of days that the highs are only in the upper 60s, the lows are in the upper 40s. So it's a little more seasonal kind of weather. But you know how our weather does that. If you've not been here for too many years or anything, you don't see that. We do that bounce. It's it gets cold and it comes back up and. I don't know where our moon was at on. I don't think we had a full moon or anything. That's usually when our actual freezes and that happens. So I mean, we got pretty cold, but nice clear skies allowed the heat up and out. And that wind yesterday, the wind I think got fairly calm overnight, which might have let some of the frost settle in some of the areas. Hopefully nobody had too much damage. It wouldn't have been something might have been covering or panicking over covering things. It wasn't that cold for that long. A little light frost might have got some buds or things like that. Maybe not even, because it might not have been that long. So just pay attention over the next couple of days to see what got damaged, realizing you don't really want to trim anything. It might just be knock off any of the dead just with your hands, and be prepared for the next cold spell, because it's apt to be a colder, as the end of the year comes, and our coldest part of the year is usually January and February. So we've got that month where we're a little more seasonal. We've got some highs in the low to mid 70s. There's an 80 thrown in here and there. Lows anywhere from the mid 40s to low 50s. But that's where we ought to be. That's that's for the next 10 days. So you go any much further out from that, and
So what does that mean for your garden? Like, what do you do anything different? Or you just let it?
Well, this time of year, it's just sort of let it slide. With it getting seasonal, the plants actually have a chance to just slow down, to acclimate into its wintertime. The days are shorter. We're not getting as much rain. Doesn't mean you need to irrigate anymore. The best time to have irrigated would have been either Sunday night, maybe yesterday early, morning kind of irrigation. Because the wind drawing everything out of, that wind is just so drying to plants. But other than that, it's just a time to let those plants rest. You're not fertilizing, you're not trimming, you're not mowing the grass. You're just sort of letting it take care, and which works out nice, because this time of year we're preparing for the holiday. We're shopping, we're baking, we're doing crafts or whatever. Tidying up the yard. I mean, there's like, just looking out here over in the grassy area by the horses here at the mall, I see like some palm boots that have fallen off. You're picking up that kind of stuff with all the wind we had yesterday. There's a good chance you've got some moss.
Palm boots?
Yeah, the boot where where it came off. That's just a technical term. you're picking up the moss and the branches that might have been blown out of the trees from that wind yesterday, because that was kind of definitely a hold on to your hat kind of day yesterday was.
See how low the balloons were in the Macy's parade?
I did. And then somebody got knocked over by
I think
one.
Ronald. Oh, a person did? Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah,
a person.
Well, Ronald McDonald had
Ronald, I think, got a tear, and they had to pull him out.
I think so.
Yeah, because he was not going to fly right on that.
Yeah, they were all very low. Smokey the Bear was not upright.
No.
He was flying like Superman.
Oh, yeah. Well, they had him, just over people height. So I want to say like 8, maybe 10 feet off the ground.
I think you're right. Yeah, they were low as I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, it was iffy if they were going to let him fly.
Right.
Yeah,
they weren't sure about that.
They weren't too sure, so... Yeah, we got.
There was snow in Jersey, by the way, yesterday.
I heard, and I got, because I have family that's still in Jersey, and I haven't talked to them to ask, did they get any?
So Robin's son lives just on the opposite side of the Hudson River from Manhattan.
Okay.
Manhattan didn't get much.
No.
But where he lives, he got a yard full. Isn't that something?
It is. It's.
Or do you think it's just the heat of the city? The city sometimes absorbs heat.
Right. It doesn't allow it to come down. I'm not seeing where it's saying that they had, because right now their precipitation is 0
Where?
for up in Mount Holly.
Ah, okay.
Oops. Now I have Mount
Well, how
Holly's
close is
weather.
that to New York City?
It's south.
Oh, okay.
It's closer to Philadelphia.
Because Robinson is in Clifton, which is, you can see the New York skyline from his house.
Oh, wow. Oops, go back.
That's how close it is, so.
There we go.
And yet it wasn't really, like, I was watching this camera view of Little Italy, Mulberry Street.
Oh, okay.
And you could see the snow coming down, but nothing was sticking.
Right. And that's it. The roads and things, the concrete, the asphalt holds some of the warmth from the day.
Yeah, I think so. Plus all those cars.
And just the buildings hold some warmth, and it does keep. That's what we always used to say. Well, the first snow up in Jersey, it never stuck because the ground wasn't cold enough for it to not melt, or just very little would stay there, and you'd end up with ice the next day because it didn't dry.
Right.
So it was one of those things. So anybody who's up there or traveling up there this winter, this holiday season, please be careful.
I think I ask you this every year.
Okay.
If you had a gardener on your gift list, aside from plants and seeds,
right?
The hardware things, like what's in the gardening department that they would love to have? Something is like.
Tools many times. It's not usually, a lot of these things you're not going to find in the stores.
Oh, really?
Unless you go to a true independent garden center.
Really?
Which we don't have right here. Well, I'm not sure if Yard Stop would have stuff like this, but you've got to find one where it has the fancy pots.
Really? What's the name for one of them?
I know you get down closer to Orlando and those areas. There's
Did Porter's? Was Porter's?
Porter's would have been
they're
something
gone.
like that. Porter's is gone. And like I said, I make it very few places, so some of the places that are local, I'm not sure if they would have too much. No, I think Bob Wimes may have some some nice pots and things like that. It's the tools. It's maybe somebody who's into roses, the gauntlet type gloves, to protect while you're pruning your rose bushes. Someone who's into orchids, orchid pots, orchid things, like that. But a lot of it can be bought online. Books that the Master Gardener's Office is a great resource for the University of Florida publications that are all gardening publications for where? Us. Florida, Central Florida.
Oh, so a book is a good idea.
A book is a real good idea. And there are a lot of them out there for our area, and a lot of them that are for individual interests, especially for wildlife or butterfly gardening and things like that.
Does the Master Gardener class have a price? There must be a price, right?
To take the Master Gardener course, it costs you the price of your books.
So you could,
which is basically, I think, on it's a program now.
So you could give somebody that as a gift.
Not really, because you have to sign up, you have to interview, you have to.
Oh, you have to pass a test.
You have to interview. You have to be able to say that, yes, you can participate. You're only allowed to miss one class.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's always, 1 day a week for, I think it's 13 weeks. So it's something that you have to be able to be committed to and committed to your volunteer hours after the fact. So it's not something you necessarily give as a gift, though you might offer to pay what somebody was, accepted into the program. Kind of thing that if you had a family member or a friend who really wanted to do this and they applied for it and you said, hey, you get in and I understand you can't, that you can do like that.
So wait a minute, today's Giving Tuesday. Are they an organization that would accept donations for one reason or another?
Not necessarily as an organization. We do, like during some of our events, people will throw in we have a $1 donation or $2 donation for the Spring Festival. Some people just go, oh, here's a $5, or they throw an extra in or some of our plant sales. I think right now, I believe, and I'm not sure how to find it right now, but they have through the whole Florida IFAS Master Gardener program statewide, it's the 40th year of Master Gardeners in the state of Florida, and they're doing a kind of like you can gift out like $40, and all of this money's going to go into where other programs can be continued that it might be short on funds, or new programs started in different counties and things like that. Not necessarily Master Gardener programs, but little projects, I guess, is a better, or upgrade to a Master Gardener garden, on county properties and things like that, where that funding might be a little hard to get to. But if you're interested in that, I'm not describing it well. You can always call the extension office.
The phone line is open. Carol Ann is here to take your call. If you're looking, I guess if you normally listen to the streaming, you wouldn't hear me tell you that it's not working right now. But but yeah, we do. Hopefully I'm recording the video. I hope I figured out a back doorway, but it's not streaming. It'll be after the fact. So.
Right.
So if you're watching Carol Ann on the video right now after the fact, then. And you have any questions, just know that on Tuesdays.
you can do. And anyone who actually is listening, if they know the In the Garden page, you can always post your question to the In the Garden page, and if you, with pictures and everything.
And in the past, I've had some texts that came through the WOCA page to forward on to you.
That's right. So. That's right. We have. So there's all kinds of different ways. But with this cold weather, just keep in mind, this was the first one. We'll probably have some worse ones. We hope for not any really hard freezes, because everybody says, a good hard freeze will get rid of the bugs and that. Not really. It just slows them down for a short while. Yeah, it only slows them down for a short while. Stores have frost blankets. You can use sheets. You can use blankets. Just what you want is, you don't want that frost blanket to touch the plant material that's underneath, because wherever it touches, that will burn. So it doesn't do you really any good. We never use plastic or the plastic tarpaulins, because again, that moisture that's going to stay in there is just going to freeze. It actually does more damage than good. A regular frost blanket, and you can probably get away with it with a sheet too, you can leave it on the plants for a couple of days. Just, you're not going to leave it for weeks. You can leave it, if you're going to have 2 nights in a row that are going to drop down, you can maybe roll the edges up to let a little light in the morning as the temperatures are rising, or even just leave them covered for a day or so. That's not going to really do much harm to your plants. But do take it off when that danger of frost is past, because it's not helpful to your plants and actually can be a little more damaging.
I mentioned earlier the phone number is 622-9622. If you'd like to call into the show, you are welcome to do that. We are live on this third day of December 2019, and winter isn't even here yet, but it feels like it might be.
The official beginning of winter has not arrived, but we are into the month of December, and I'm sure anyone who happens to be, we're just finished the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, but we're into, just the whole holiday season for everyone, and a lot of people that we have here in Marion County are not from Marion County. They are from up north, and they enjoy this cool weather to help them feel like they're getting into the spirit of it.
That's right. I'm with them.
And to me, I can say 80 degrees for Christmas is just fine. It's what Florida's supposed to be.
I know you like that.
Those of us who live here can't go walk on the beach if it's only 70. It's too cold.
Hey, speaking of the beach, yesterday you said it was windy, right? And I looked out the window, and for some reason, when I see these palm trees blowing, like right now, it's a very gentle breeze.
Right.
But when they blow, it always reminds me of being at the ocean. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah, just the ocean breezes coming in. Yeah, and if you're outside, you can hear that, the sound of it. Right. I had a customer in yesterday, and they were from Iowa. And one thing, they were working on their landscape, and something they wanted was palm tree. And
everybody wants
a palm tree because they're in Florida. You got to have a palm tree. And I don't know. I don't think that, if you don't realize that all these palms are not necessarily in Central Florida just naturally. So you are creating, though they might be native to Florida, you're creating an area, to do this. But it was, and the whole thing of going, with the sounds, I said, ours were a little close together, so you couldn't really hear the different ways that palms can add sound into the landscape, as well as, some of them just get too tall. Movement when, when the breeze is blowing, just like the ornamental grasses and like that they, or like a water feature gives you sound. The palms can give you sound as well.
Yeah.
So it's, some of the little bit different in the features. So it was, I think they were happy. They did go with 2 palms, and so hopefully they will,
So if you have no need to cut the grass because the grass is not growing, but you are cutting the grass because you have these annoying wisps that keep showing up.
Right.
Because something is growing out there.
The weeds or something's popping up,
So is there a way, I know people don't like weed killer.
Right.
But is there a way to spray the lawn so that those things die but the grass doesn't?
You can, but not. Like right now is not the best time to do it. It would have been okay. Well, right now it's too cold. Those things just don't work. Even the stuff that everybody hates. Once the temperatures are cold, it just doesn't work. The plants don't take it up.
Oh, that's why. Huh?
Yeah, they don't. It dries on them, but they're not absorbing it into the circulatory system of the plant. So, if you ever read the labels on them, they tell you that between 60 and I think 80 is that optimum temperature range to use them, and you need more than today's going to go to 60. You don't just run out and spray because it's only going to be 60 for a couple hours, so it's not really going to be real effective for it. But yes, you can do the liquid herbicides in fall. You can do again in spring, or you can, because the leaves are falling on the yard, you can mow, but it's just you're mowing high. You're just taking and sucking those leaves up and chopping them up so that they fall back down into the yard and fertilize the ground. Because they all break down. It's all a huge natural cycle that occurs. There was ultimate planting at one point. That we've changed some of it by planting plants that were not native, but we can still trade the same way.
That's maybe not necessarily about gardening, but
there
was a story this morning that the water level in the Everglades is 5 inches higher than normal, and they're saying because the seas have risen 5 inches. Do you think that's true, or do you think the water's coming from like the same thing with Payne's Prairie? They say Payne's Prairie is water because of the ocean, right? If the ocean is right, wouldn't it be all over the world, not just in Central Florida?
It's what I think is we've been working on eradicating Melaleuca that was planted in the Everglades to suck up the water, and if we've been having any successes on removing that maybe just those water levels are returning to what would have been normal.
I don't know.
But releases of waters.
I don't know the logic.
Because usually, the lakes and stuff like that, everybody's saying, everybody's sucking the water out of the ground, so the lake levels are down.
Right.
But Payne's Prairie is up, and
because
I guess
of that dike,
lake
right? Wasn't it a broken dike in the case of Payne's Prairie?
Payne's Prairie dried up years ago.
But as far as the water coming back, isn't there a dike that broke?
I don't think there was. I don't
okay.
know. I'm not sure what happened with that, unless they plugged a sinkhole or something in it.
All right, we are at the midway point. So if you have a question for Caroline, you can still ask it. You just got to wait till after the news, and we'll be right back after that. It's about a 4-minute waiting period, so hang in there. We got news, and we'll be right back with Caroline Baldwin. If you want to call in during the break, you
We
can
got
win
some Bob Wines gift certificates.
Thank you. Certificates to Bob Wine. 622-9622 is the number during the break and after the break to speak to Caroline. We'll be right back.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. Today, the House Intelligence Committee releases its report summarizing findings in the impeachment inquiry. House Republicans have already put out their own version.
Republicans argue Democrats have not proven allegations that President Trump pressured Ukraine to open political investigations, and that none of the witnesses testified to having evidence of bribery, extortion, or any high crime or misdemeanor. The report states there's nothing wrong with asking serious questions about Hunter Biden's work with a Ukrainian energy company, and that the president had legitimate concerns about corruption in the nation.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland in Washington. President Trump's in London for a NATO meeting. He says he has no deadline in mind for a trade deal with China.
In some ways, I like the idea of waiting till after the election for the China deal. But they want to make a deal now, and we'll see whether or not the deal's going to be right. It's got to be right. Look, China's been ripping off the United States for many, many years.
America's listening to Fox News.
Napa know-how.
Right now, a 5-quart jug of Napa Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a Platinum Filter is just $23.98. That's a great deal for a great oil, which is another reason why this is the most wonderful time of the year. That's Napa Full Synthetic Oil and a Platinum Filter for $23.98. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. While supplies last. Offer ends 12/15/19.
Pros, for the brands you trust to get the job done right, start with Lowe's, because Lowe's has the power you need and at the right prices. Stop in today and pick up a Metabo HPT 1 3/4-inch 15-degree pneumatic roofing nailer for $40 less, now just $249. And stock up on saw blades and save $4 on a Spider Framing and Construction 7 1/4-inch 24-tooth steel circular saw blade, now $598. Whatever you need to get the job done, and every job after, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid 12/5 through 12/11 U.S. only.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. At today's Ocala City Council meeting, council members are expected to make a decision regarding the installation of newly elected Tyrone Oliver for the District 2 seat because of a 33-year-old felony charge. Florida lawmakers are considering legislation that would require all Florida public schools to hold a daily moment of silence for reflection. A panel of federal judges is preparing to hear a case that will offer guidance on how schools in Florida will deal with transgender student access to restrooms and locker rooms. New legislation would allow Florida schools to paddle students with parental permission. A pair of St. Petersburg women caught smiling on a surveillance video are accused of stealing a wallet from a 75-year-old woman and then going on a $5,000 spending spree. The Federal Railroad Administration says all the fatalities along the Brightline high-speed rail service have either been suicide or caused by impatience, and Defuniak Springs has been named Florida's best small town. And that is your news brief from The Source.
A sunny but cool day today, high 58 to 63. Cool night with patchy clouds developing, a low tonight 37 to 47. Tomorrow it will be mostly sunny throughout the day. Wednesday's high 65 to 68. And for Thursday, partial sunshine, high 68 to 70. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Kevin Snyder.
You know, Christmas is getting close fast, and WOCA has gotten an Oriental rug from Cyrus Rugs. This $1,500 rug can be seen through the window at the WOCA studios at the Paddock Mall. Why am I telling you this? Well, when Larry or Robin of AM Ocala Live tell you, just call in and your name will be added to the WOCA Big Blue Box. And one lucky winner's name will be picked out on December 20th. Wow. Now that is one nice Christmas gift.
'Tis the season to be giving.
And at WOCA The Source, we have teamed up with Florida Kids Helping Kids
To make sure homeless children in Marion County have a great Christmas.
And you can help.
Yes, WOCA at the Paddock Mall is a drop-off site. Bring new or gently used dolls, skateboards, jewelry sets,
Footballs, basketballs, musical instruments,
and anything else a child would like.
Share your blessings.
Children will be able to choose a gift for another child.
And Florida Kids Helping Kids will wrap the gift.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from all of us here at WOCA The Source.
'Tis the season to be merry at the Appleton Museum of Art's annual Family Day. Join us on Saturday, December 7th from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. to celebrate the Urban Family Holiday Exhibit with decorated trees, the beloved Dickens Village, Nutcracker Collection, and more. Have your photo taken with Santa and then stop by the art space for a holiday art project. Then from noon till 3, take carriage rides and enjoy light refreshments, all free of charge. The Appleton is located on East Silver Springs Boulevard in Ocala. For more information, visit appletonmuseum.org.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Oh, by gosh, by golly, it's time for mistletoe and holly. Those are the only two plants I can think of. and poinsettias.
And poinsettias, yep.
Carol Ann is here to talk about your plants. The number is 622-9622. So let's talk about those two in the song, mistletoe.
Mistletoe.
We got plenty of it in the parking lot here.
Mistletoe is
it's all over the place.
Parasitic plant here in Central Florida. I mean, it does have its... I guess redeeming qualities is that the berries are a food source for some plants, but it is one plant where Spanish moss and the ball moss and lichens and stuff are not parasites. They don't take anything from your plants. Mistletoe does. Mistletoe can kill a tree.
But nobody kisses you underneath Spanish moss.
That's true. And yeah, but you can. And actually, I was surprised to see that our store we actually did get mistletoe, little packages of mistletoe.
Real mistletoe?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I guess.
You have a phone call?
Mistletoe.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann. Hello. How come that happens?
Our phone's not
the
working?
second time it happened. No, it's working.
Okay.
I think I'm just taking too long to get to it.
Could be.
So
hold on, folks. Give us a second.
The holly. Now,
Yes.
what is that?
Hollies. Hollies are a large. Actually, I think that's a couple of hollies right out there.
Where?
The two. They're kind of conical. Right over there across the way behind the horses, behind the little low hedge.
Okay, I have to go out there.
The two big ones.
Don't they have pointy leaves?
Yeah,
holly?
I mean hollies. There's different shaped leaves for hollies.
Oh,
There's a lot
really?
of native hollies. Some of the hollies you might think of are northern hollies that don't do real well here, but we have quite a few of them that do. I mean, the Savannah and East Palatka are great trees. All right, is this call going to find? Are we going to get the call through? All right,
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning.
Hello.
Well, I was wondering about papayas.
Okay. Yeah, papayas don't like this cold weather.
Okay.
What do you want to know? What to try to do to help protect them, or?
My neighbor just planted them.
Oh.
And he's wondering when the seeds will start sprouting the papaya trees.
Oh, okay. So he planted seed. He planted seed. Hopefully the seed will stay viable through the winter, because usually you'll start seed indoors for papaya trees. Keep it warm. Keep it evenly moist if they're in the house or in an area where you can control that weather for them. And they should actually come up, I want to say, within a couple weeks. And then just take care of the small plants, separate them out when they get up to be a few inches tall into individual pots, so that in the spring, when all danger of frost is past, they can then be planted out in the garden.
Okay.
Okay, just papaya do like even moisture, so I mean don't keep where they're started wet, but it wants to be damp, like at least like the feeling of a wrung out, like a squished out sponge.
Okay.
And once they're up, lots of sunshine for them, and very weak solutions of a liquid fertilizer like a fish emulsion, or I guess you could do something similar to a Miracle Grow. Just really light solution on that. And as those little trees grow, because they grow relatively quickly, you may need to keep potting them up into bigger pots so that in spring they'll be ready to go in the ground. They will fruit this year, this coming season, and they should bear plenty.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And the phone lines are open if you want to call in. The number is 622-9622. That's the kind of information that Carol Ann is here to share with you if you have a plant or something you're kind of concerned about.
And the tropical, because papaya, a lot of people do grow. We grow amazing amount of tropical fruit in a subtropical area. We are really a little bit cold for most of your tropicals, but with care, you can do it. Papaya are a really cool fruit for the sake that it will produce that, they will grow to a full-size tree. This
sounds like
season,
it's quick, too.
And it's a quick-growing tree with proper moisture and warmth through the growing season. As I say, starting them inside is great. Start them out, get them sprouted up, put them in their own pots. You may need to pot up into larger pots. I would probably try to keep them single so that when you don't get them too jammed in there, they don't start stealing moisture from each other or nutrition. Once they're up and growing a little bit, like I said, a weak fertilizer like the fish emulsion or a kelp meal or something like a liquid, like I said, something similar to a Miracle Grow. But again, very weak. Really dilute that down, just because you don't want to force them to grow a ton, because they got to stay inside for the next 3 months. You're looking at not putting those in the ground until probably about the 1st of April, because we do, our last expected frost date is the middle of March. Some people wait. I don't know where that full moon is. After that full moon, sometime in March. So they'll, especially for something as sensitive as they can be, give them plenty of room. They are decent sized trees. Even moisture, regular fertilization, probably just a citrus fertilizer at that point when you put them in the ground a couple times while they're growing, and they should bear fruit this year. So it's one of those nice ones. And then you can, the tree won't necessarily die, but it could, depending on the winter. But usually if it gets well established in there, even if the top part dies off, shoots will come up out of the bottom. The next year, so you can protect it that way.
Is it possible or even practical, maybe that's a better word, for like the snowbird who's visiting us to even get a garden going, since they're going to go back up in March, let's say?
Most of the snowbirds that I talk to are ones that will garden in containers, in large pots, and they'll keep them on their Florida rooms and that, where it's a little warmer, plenty of sun coming in there, or even in the bird cage where you got a lot of sun coming through, but you could scooch it closer to the house. But there's
the
quite
snowbirds have a real bird. Apparently.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, with the bird cage. Yeah.
Did I tell you about my son's parrot? My son and his wife have a parrot.
Oh, they have a parrot.
When you knock on the table, the bird says, "Come in."
Oh. Well, has learned it now.
I have fun over at their house.
Yeah.
I have fun.
On the door.
I get everybody. I'm a frustrating man. You know that? People are frustrated by me. All right, we're ready for the next call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, hello.
Okay. Yeah, this is Michael in Ocala, Florida, and I had a question for Carol Ann regarding avocados. I do composting out in my backyard, and I have done it for years, and so I have a lot of avocados, both varieties, the Haas and a Florida avocado variety. Been growing anywhere from 2 feet up to about 20 feet.
Wow.
About 20 or 30 sitting near my backyard. But I noticed the fruits never come on, so I didn't know what's the procedure, or would that ever happen regarding avocados?
I've talked to a couple of people who've actually grown seed-grown avocado, and it they've managed to get avocado in about 3 to 4 years. But I've always understood that it can take 8 years before a seed-grown plant reaches a maturity to fruit, and some of them actually need to cross-pollinate or have a male and a female tree within a close enough proximity. So I'm not sure how to tell unless you're finding the flowers if yours is one or the other.
Right. Well, I do appreciate the information, and it gives me something to look forward to and maybe try to experiment with.
Sure. And it might even be, I don't know if you're feeding them throughout, during the growing season, that there might just be a little trick on that. Or you can always try that whole thing that we have, your trees won't fruit you, at the beginning of spring, if it hasn't ever fruited before, is take the belt out there and whack them a few times and see if it doesn't trigger them into flowering to fruit.
Okay. Well, I thank you for your information and thank you for your service here on the radio.
Sure. My pleasure.
Thank you for the call.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. If you have a call, Carol Ann is here. The number is 622-9622. I like that kind of call.
Yeah, those are and again, those are both tropical. The avocado, there are some good avocados that will grow this far north. Don't ask me the specific varieties offhand. I'd actually have to look them up to find out the names of them. But you can find them. I probably wouldn't try to put them in the ground now. But if you found one, say small, you got a nice price for it, keep it potted up, maybe keep it in a container till spring at least, and then then find your place out in the landscape to put it. Give the avocado plenty of room. They are large trees, as you heard him said. He's got one, 20 feet. That might not be the best for many people's yards. Does
the cold weather have any benefit to the plants? Like you had said, I think oranges taste better.
So there's always the thing of that the citrus will sweeten up even more. The sugars concentrate or something like that when we have a nice frost or something. And some plants just need it. They say collard greens will get sweeter.
Oh, really?
When you get some cold weather.
And you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Morning.
Alrighty. Hey, my wife plants the tops of the pineapples, and they grow out to be a very nice-looking bush, if nothing else.
Right.
Will they ever get pineapples on them?
They should, yes. Takes about 18 months to 2 years for them to reach maturity. They like nice sunny area. Again, they're tropical, regular moisture to them. If there are they in the ground or in pots?
Yeah, they're in the ground, and all she does when she buys a fresh pineapple, she cuts the top off of it and plants it, and it becomes an extremely nice, like I said, if it never became a pineapple, it's an extremely nice, it almost looks like a cactus of sorts. Well, it's very, very nice looking.
They are.
But if it grew pineapples, that'd be even better.
Oh, sure. Like I said, once they reach about year and a half to 2 years old, they should be to a mature enough state that they would fruit. I don't know if she fertilizes or not. Maybe a little fertilizer might help to get them there. Once they hit that 2 year mark, if they've not fruited, you can always try to take, maybe use some burlap. Again, I wouldn't want anything that would be like plastic on the plants in, say, spring or summertime. Put an apple or so right in there. The ethylene gases seem to encourage pineapples to do their thing and to begin to fruit. But the pineapple is related to the bromeliad, which is also related to ball moss that grows in our trees. So it's a whole.
You kind of cut out on me. I heard something about a piece of burlap that encourages them. Can you say that one more time?
Oh, okay. Yeah, once they reach a maturity of, say, approximately 2 years, if they've not fruited, in the spring, late spring or so, is to take about a half an apple, maybe a whole apple, put it up within those pineapples and cover it with like a burlap for a couple of weeks. And the ethylene gas that's released by that apple should encourage those pineapples to begin to come into wanting to fruit. If that's,
I see. So cover the whole pineapple bush.
Cover the whole plant.
With the burlap.
Right.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Yep.
Yeah, they make an extremely nice looking plant, quite frankly.
Oh, they are.
So I'm happy either way.
Right.
But,
they do. Yeah. Put
I'll
them around.
try
Yeah.
that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, because nothing better than fresh pineapple. Just as your pineapple, if you get lucky enough and you get your pineapple to get going, my understanding is you want to pick them just a little bit before they get ripe, because otherwise you'll be going, oh, I'm going to get that one tomorrow, and the raccoons will get it the night before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people make that comment. So,
all right, well, good. Very good. I appreciate all the good information. Thank you so much.
You're
Love
welcome.
the show.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, good questions today. Okay, we got the phone line still open, 622-9622. Got a good 11 minutes left in the show.
And going, just because it seems like we're on kind of a tropical kick, bananas or something else that we have a lot of people have in their landscape. I mean, especially some of the older homes, it was instead of palm trees, we had bananas, I guess. And this time of year can be a little tough on the banana trees. The brown leaves and that, just leave them.
I know.
Let me take the call so we don't lose them, and then we'll go back on bananas.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
You must be reading my mind. I got banana tree questions.
Okay.
I got every 10 years worth, everything from as tall as my roof to the new one this year, like a foot, 2 foot, 10 total. Now, I've been cutting a lot of the leaves, the brown ones.
Yeah.
And a few of the lower leaves. I cut them 3/4 of the way, halfway through, and then let them cover the trunk.
Okay.
Now, I ain't got no way to listen to my language. I've got no way to cover the big ones or nothing. Should I do the same thing, or what's the best thing to protect them?
Just letting them, actually pretty much letting nature do its thing, realizing that we are subtropical, they are tropical. The leaves are going to turn brown and hang down long before we have freezing, damaging temperatures to the banana. So those leaves will just naturally hang down to help to protect them. With them, obviously, the smaller ones are going to probably survive a little better because they're lower, closer to the ground. Something that's 10 feet tall, you're not going to really do much protection on that. But in spring, all you have to do is, when it's time to clean them up, trim them up some, see if they're coming up out of the top, that they made it through. It'll depend on our winter whether or not there's any true damage to the banana. To the plant itself, the little ones, and they're going to come back. You almost can't kill out a batch of banana plants. They come up.
Mine
so
come
easily.
back every year.
Yeah, they come up. They don't seem to have a problem with it. It's just you need to have them make it 9 to 18 months without freezing, the plant freezing, before they'll reach a maturity to fruit. So.
All right. I appreciate the advice. I forgot to say this is Jerry Ocala, and I'm going to try my best to protect them.
Yeah.
But, from what you told me, I just let them do their thing, especially the tall ones.
Sure. Yeah, and once spring happens, once where danger of frost has passed, you can either just cut off the bad leaves or take, and I find a serrated knife, and unless you can swing a machete real good, a serrated knife or serrated saw will cut through that trunk pretty easily and allow that just to come right up, because they grow right from the middle. And they'll just spring a new leaf right out of the center.
I appreciate it, and I'll leave the leaves hanging down that I've already cut.
Yeah.
See what happens. I appreciate it. Thanks for helping all of us out here.
Certainly. Thanks for being a listener.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's more people here in the park that listen to you that I've run into that, they just don't call, but you're a valuable asset to the radio.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
See you later. I'll call you next week.
All righty.
What a nice thing to say.
Yeah,
Wow.
that is.
Beautiful thing.
Appreciate that.
So I have a question about the pineapple, going back to that
Okay.
one. Does the pineapple plant only produce one pineapple?
Pineapple plants produce one pineapple,
Okay.
but they will make pups just like other bromeliads. Anybody familiar with the bromeliad family? Those are the ones that real stiff leaves, and they make a really cool looking flower. Well, the pineapple is the flower, when it comes up, but it'll make little pups, and that pineapple on top you can cut off, plant in the ground.
Make another one.
And make another one.
Oh, okay.
And so, but little pups, the main parent plant will just sit there, do its thing. Pineapple, when it dies off, you'll see that there's other little ones should be coming up along
So
underneath
how do
that.
you know that it's close enough that you can actually clip it before the raccoons get it?
They begin to change color. They begin to get golden, color.
What are the
and
raccoons?
that's it.
They can smell
they
it?
Can, pineapple. If you ever know, you walk by pineapple, and you can smell that. And while they're still green, they don't seem to mess with them. But as they, when they get, that golden color starts to come on them, that scent, that fragrance really starts to come out on them, and so you have to be proactive and don't leave it, or you'll be feeding the raccoons.
I got about 5 minutes left in the show. And P.S., if you would like to post a photo of whatever it is you are wanting to show Carol Ann or ask a question about, Carol Ann has a Facebook page. It is simply called In the Garden.
In the Garden.
And look for the one that's Ocala, and the one that has a garden gnome on a fairy garden on the picture.
It, yeah.
The other one is down in Sanibel Island. I think that's a business, actually.
Yeah,
So-
I believe it might be. And if you're on there, what you'll do is before, on Tuesday mornings, I'd usually just post something silly or just a reminder that the show's coming on, and so that way
Subscribe, that way you know.
Yeah, that way you're.
And the other part of this is we do record these so you can share these. They're all on
Right.
YouTube.
Right.
You can go back a long time.
Long time, yeah.
We did this so long. Think about this for a second. I got
Okay.
a fun thought, right?
It'll make me feel old.
Let's say on the day that you did your first show. Now that includes the stuff you did with Suzanne before I was
when
even
I was
here.
just a substitute.
Yeah, before I was even here. Let's say you planted an acorn. How big would that oak tree be now? Because that would have been at least
15 years, probably.
I think more than-
maybe 17 or 18
Oh,
years.
easy, yeah.
Yeah,
What-
because I became a master gardener in 1996.
So the
And
first
so,
first day. Let's
yeah.
plant a tree. Remember we planted a camellia from
Yes,
Bob Wines. Wasn't it?
No, that was from Dave Taylor.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, that was from Dave
Okay.
Taylor.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I
That's
forgot.
it, yeah.
But I think that we planted it in the Cascades, and I think they took it out.
Yeah, I think they did once the
Oh
station.
man.
Yeah.
We should plant something in this garden out here.
Yeah, and then they'll take that out in a hurry.
So how big would it be? Okay, let's say you
18
planted
years, that would be a pretty
big tree.
Pretty big tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would.
Wow. So you think it's a long time until you
Till you
like when you said 2 years or 1.5 years for the pineapple. I was
Right.
thinking that's a long time
it's
to
a
wait.
long time, but if you think about it, what were we doing? I mean, it's December. Where has this year
But if you
gone?
planted, let's say, 7 of them or 10 of them or something,
Right.
you would have a lot of pineapples.
Well, but you wouldn't necessarily have to force all of them at the same time.
Oh, staggered them.
Yeah.
So you have a
Yeah.
pineapple a month club. Or
Kind of thing, yeah. Or you do one, wait a couple weeks, do another one, and pineapple does freeze well. So
I know it goes good with vanilla ice cream.
Goes good in smoothies too.
That's right.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
they're
healthier
real
than me.
good. They're a good, or hey, they just make a great instead of a, to me they're a healthy milkshake. Some vanilla yogurt. That was my phone, I think.
Oh, that's your phone. Okay.
Vanilla yogurt and pineapple juice and some frozen pineapple, a little bit of frozen banana. Throw that in there, whip that up. You got your great milkshake there. That's
You know what Carvel calls that?
What?
A Hawaiian milkshake.
Hawaiian milkshake. See, now you can do pina colada too. Use the coconut yogurt, pineapple juice, and pineapple, and some banana, because frozen banana helps thicken it up real good. And pina colada one. And if you wanted to get to the other, you could always
Can you believe
make an
it's
adult version.
December 30th, 1 month from today. It's almost the new year. Almost
That's it,
2020.
yeah.
Almost the year of good
Actually,
eyesight.
we will have. That's it. We will have a Christmas Eve and a New Year's Eve show. It looks like.
Oh, really?
Well, Tuesday. is 24th and the 31st. Looking at the calendar behind you.
So you're doing a Christmas Eve and a New Year's Eve show.
Yeah, we'll see. So I'm
That's fun.
Coming up.
That's fun. Bring some bells.
Bring some.
Oh, you got bells on right now?
I got bells on right now.
Where, on your feet?
On my shoes, yes.
I mean, can you lift them or no? If you asked me to lift my feet, I couldn't do it. Oh, look at you. Green bells on your feet. You got small feet. I don't think I ever looked down. There's always a table between the two of us.
That's it. But yes, I have my bells on so I can irritate customers and coworkers for nearly a month. I gave them a break yesterday. I didn't wear them yesterday.
Are you the boss?
No, I'm just the nursery specialist.
Oh, okay, so you gave them a break. I thought you were the boss.
I gave them a break, yeah. Just on my bells.
So I know you don't like to do this, but if you have a question for Carol Ann and you happen to be in Lady Lake, in the Lowe's. Guess what? That's where she is.
That's where I'm at. Ask my cashiers. They'll go, oh, yeah, she's over there. Yeah, you can find her. Or they'll call me. And then. Do
you ever do the cash register? Do you ever work that?
Occasionally.
Oh,
yeah,
don't you hate? I bet you hate that, right?
It's not my favorite thing to do, only for the sake that I'm the one everybody goes to ask questions of. So, but Black Friday, I played.
You're the question lady.
I played bagger and gate guard for a little while.
Oh, really?
While we were busy, yeah, just so that.
Well, enjoy the next few days of cold.
No, I won't enjoy them, but I'll deal with them.
For anybody who would like to see this again, we will put this up as a podcast on YouTube. And, of course, all of Carol Ann's shows are on YouTube in the recorded version. Thank you, Carol Ann.
Hey, my pleasure.
You have to work today?
I sure do.
Well, enjoy your job.
Oh, yeah.
You got lots of Christmas trees today.
Oh, wait, yeah, and actually, I think I got a truck full coming.
We'll be right back.
Bye-bye.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. President Trump meeting in London with the French President Emmanuel Macron says his administration's considering 100%